Pliny the Younger lived from 61 AD to 113 AD. He was an author, a lawyer, and a magistrate of Rome. He's penned hundreds of letters that are still around today. In two of these letters, he talks about his uncle, Pliny the Pliny the Elder. Okay, seriously, Pliny the Elder. He writes about how his uncle perished during the famous Mount Vesuvius eruption. He was on a rescue mission, actually. And these letters are highly regarded today because they give such detailed insight into everyday life during the Roman Empire. In one of these letters, he talks about a curious story, a case that conjures up deep-rooted primal emotions and fears of things that go bump in the night. He talks about what many people believe to be the first written account in history of a haunted house. And so that is the subject of today's episode of
Bizarre History.
As stated, Pliny the Younger has penned hundreds of letters, but only one really evokes the fear of things that go bump in the night. In this one letter, he writes about Athenodorus Canonitus, a philosopher who once taught a young Octavius, the boy who would eventually grow up to be Augustus Caesar, the first Roman emperor. So in this one letter, Pliny writes about Athenodorus traveling to Athens to write his latest book. And he comes across a home that is uninhabited and cheaply priced. And he's not quite sure why it's vacant and why the price is so low, you know? So he inquires as to what's the deal, right? He basically is like, what's going on here? What's the catch? I don't get it. He was told that at night, former residents would see a ghostly apparition of a squalid old man with a long beard and bristly hair, whose hands and feet are chained. Athenodorus, not really caring, and maybe he didn't believe in ghosts, I don't really know. So he took the deal and was like, I'm gonna stay at this home, and I'm gonna live here while I write whatever it is that I'm actually writing. Though the letter doesn't necessarily state when this happens, it's assumed this happens the first night that he stays there. So as night falls, he orders his people to go to bed while he stays up late and writes. And so his letter states,
The first part of the night passed with usual silence. Then began the clanking of iron fetters. However, he neither lifted up his eyes nor laid down his pen, but closed his ears by concentrating his attention. The noise increased and advanced nearer, till it seemed at the door, and at last in the chamber. He looked round and saw the apparition exactly as it has been described to him. It stood before him, beckoning with the finger. Athenodorus made a sign with his hand that it should wait a little, and bent again to his writing. But the ghost rattling its chains over his head as he wrote, he looked round and saw it beckoning as before. Upon this, he immediately took up his lamp and followed it. The ghost slowly stalked along, as if encumbered with its chains, and having turned into the courtyard of the house, suddenly vanished. Athenodorus, being thus deserted, marked the spot with a handful of grass and leaves. The next day he went to the magistrates and advised them to order that spot to be dug up. There they found the bones commingled and intertwined with chains, for the body had molded away by long lying in the ground, leaving them bare and corroded by the fetters. The bones were collected and buried at the public expense, and after the ghost was thus duly laid, the house was haunted no more.
So there you have it. This letter is what many people believe to be the first written account of a haunted house in history. So what do you think? Do you think this actually happened? Or do you think this is just some sort of local legend that became immortalized in one of Pliny the Younger's letters? So that's it. That's the first episode of hopefully many. If there is anything you hate or loved, please mention in the comments below. Say, this guy needs to shut up. I want to see more history. I want to see less history. I don't know, whatever you want to say. So, hope to see you again. Till next time on the next episode of Bizarre History. Is there a strange or mysterious historical event that you would like us to cover on this channel? If so, mention it in the comments below.